Would you like to support the Insiders? Pick up some merch now. Support us by getting a shirt, a hoodie. Support Abby's Window. Get a Shenanigans shirt. Whatever you'd like. Pick up some merch now. Insiders Pro Wrestling. The link is at the end of the video.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday in our first show of Between the Ropes for 2024. So welcome. We have got a jam-packed episode tonight to talk about with you guys. Obviously, the follow-up to everyone's everyone's reactions and all the news, obviously, about the TNA pay-per-view last night will be first and foremost on our minds. We'll talk a lot about that, among a lot of other things, as we always do in this wacky world of professional wrestling. Jeff, what's going on, man? Jeff and I were discussing, or I was lamenting the poor performance of my football team, which, in a way, I'm very glad that is the case, because now I know for a fact they will lose their coach. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I've been hoping for that for 3 years, and now it is going to become true. So in that respect, I am good, because I never really thought he was that good anyway. Oh man, I don't know. What could you do, right? When you're a fan, it's a lot of downs. There's very, very, very few ups as a fan, because I mean, especially in pro sports, there's so many teams, and for your team that you like to actually win a championship is very, very difficult. But anyway, hey, listen, I'm rooting for Jeff's team now. Hopefully he knocks out the Eagles and they don't go any further. Dallas could very well get Bill Belichick. I was telling Jeff, I think Jerry might be on the phone right now. He might be on the phone right now.
He may be.
Apparently, there's ties with him. When he first came in the league, there was something between the two of them. So they apparently are friends. They lost. They got hammered. It wasn't even close. The score looks close. It wasn't at all. They got destroyed by the youngest team in football. An average of 25 years old with a first-time starting playoff quarterback, which it's embarrassing. Horribly outcoached in the game. So it was just gross. It was just gross. I've said this many times, and Brian's kind of reflecting what my thoughts are. They will never win another Super Bowl until Jerry Jones passes away and is gone. I am confined to that fact. I don't know what you're going to call it. A lot of people are saying it was the curse of Jimmy Johnson. I'm going to call it, well, I'm going to even go back further. I think it's the curse of Tom Landry. He was let go by Jerry Jones many, many years ago. The man with the hat. A lot of people, I don't know if if you're young enough or old enough to remember him, but he was a coach for many years for the Cowboys in the 70s and early 80s. Won a few Super Bowls with them, and very, very recognized as one of the top coaches of all time. And when Jerry came in, he immediately dismissed him. Now that was, of course, before Jimmy Johnson won some Super Bowls after that. But why is it McCarthy's fault? He's coaching. They were out coached, bonus baby. If you watch that game, then you can see it. They were out coached. Why was Dak and why were Dak and CeeDee Lamb constantly talking to one another? They were confusing. They weren't like that all the season long. They were out coached. The scheming that Green Bay had, the defensive scheming versus the offense, that's coaches, dude. That's coaches. They were out coached. So that's why. Players do what the coaches tell them to do in every sport. The coaches draw up the plays. Yes, they have to execute them, but the coaches have to come up with a plan, and he had no plan. None at all. All right. I don't want to get into this because we're here for wrestling, and I'm over it. I told Jeff I'm going to go Celtics. Here we go. I'm on the basketball. But yes, we're going to talk about wrestling tonight because I don't care. But yeah, let's go. We got a lot of things to talk about, Jeff. It's a packed show. We've got a lot to go over. And coming off the high from the from last night's show and Hard to Kill, it's going to be a fun night, man. A lot to talk about.
Yeah, lots to talk about. I mean, that's every week it seems. We got a jam-packed show, so it makes for a lot of fun conversation, and we'll have some fun conversation this evening.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let me welcome some people in. Talk about the schedule a little bit first. I know we might have some new people joining us, and welcome if you are. Please make sure that you sub to the channel. I saw we got a good amount of subs from last night's show, which is awesome. But if you are new, please subscribe. Also, please hit the like on the video for us tonight. Again, very, 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 very important. We got a good amount of likes on the show last night, which was really good. The more that happens, the more people can see it because of YouTube's goofy things. So really, really appreciate that. Just taking that second. And you know what? You know what it is for, what like and subscribing is? It's free. It's free. There's not many things in this world that are free anymore. It is absolutely free to do. And you're helping us out big time when you do it. So please make sure you do. Also, if you want to be notified about when we've got our future content, make sure you hit that bell as well. All right. This week, we will have Thursday for sure. We'll be here at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for TNA. Now that is going to be, it's kind of weird because they announced, of course, that Nick Nemeth, who we will be talking about a lot more, I'm sure, has a match against Zachary Wentz. Now that's going to happen at Snake Eyes, but they did say it's going to be on a future episode of Impact, which is really weird, Jeff. They're calling the Thursday show TNA Impact.
Yeah, that was the name of the show back in the day.
Okay.
And so that's coming. And Explosion, James Chadwick just said, returns at tonight's tapings and will replace BTI. So Explosion will be on in the place of BTI.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean, I guess it's a good marketing thing too, because it's still called Impact, and if people are looking for Impact and not aware, then it will still be there. But they did say a future show, so we don't really know how much they're going to take from Snake Eyes and fit it into this week's show, or is it going to be spread out? I'm not sure. I don't know how that's going to work. But in any case, we're going to get those matches on future shows, future weekly shows. Now, there may be questions about from people about the YouTube stuff. I honestly, don't know that either, because I know they kind of swerved people a little bit with the YouTube thing yesterday and not showing the pre-show, except for on their app. I have not read anything or heard anything that they are not doing YouTube, so I would assume that the business would be as usual there. But I only have seen that they are when I've seen advertisements, it's only said Access TV. So I hope that's, I would imagine, I don't think they would stop that. I think that'd be a really dumb move. So I really don't think they'll stop the YouTube thing. I hope not anyway. And I haven't seen anything about their TNA Plus app having it. But anyway, we'll be here 7:45 p.m. like always on Thursday. Eastern Standard Time for that show. Obviously, we're going to get the pre-show again too, which will be cool. And as Jeff was talking about with BTI and stuff like that too, we'll have to figure that out. If we see that it's starting at 7:30 and they're going to do matches, I guess prior, maybe more than one, we'll have to maybe change our time. Maybe we'd have to go to 7:30 instead of 7:45, but we'll get that worked out. And then what else? We have the Rumble this weekend? Do we?
Not this weekend. It's the 27th, the weekend of the 27th. Yeah.
27th. Okay. So our next pay-per-view coming up will be the Royal Rumble, which is going to be exciting. We may see a lot of surprises there. So I believe, and then of course we'll be back here next Sunday. Abby's, of course, is kind of just, depending on Jody. We'll keep you posted on that. As far as when that'll be, we're not sure. Jody hasn't been feeling well. I know went through surgery and things like that for stuff. So we'll have to let you know. We'll just keep you posted on that. So just keep watching the channel, and we'll let you know about when that may resume. So, okay, let's welcome some folks in and start talking some wrestling. We've got Brandon Wayne Lewis is here. Happy birthday to Cora Jade. Cora Jade's birthday today. Derek Fleming. Yeah, Derek. Listen, Falcon fan. You didn't even make it. I don't want to hear anything from you. I don't want to hear anything from you. James Grant is here. What's up, James? The double standard. Is that Tony Khan and AEW marks are complete hypocrites. Jeremy Dunderman, member of the channel. Welcome, Jeremy. Welcome in to the show. We're happy you're here, and thanks for your support. We appreciate that. Clown is here. James Chadwick is barely awake, but here. He's saying morning. Let's see. With DJB Tazzy. What's up, Tazzy? How are you doing, man? Hope you're well. He's going to end up falling asleep in his chair like an old man. That would be like me. Dylan is here. What's up, Dylan? Robert Cortez is still chanting TNA from yesterday, as a lot of people probably are. Bonkers LFC is here. Think Trinity is having a rematch at the TV taping now. Okay. Spoilers. Greg Felty is here. Damien's here. What's up, Damien? How you doing? Brandon Davey is here. Breaking news for TNA Explosion returns to Workplace BTI. Very cool. Barry Monkey from Twitch is here. What's up with you? Brian is here. As a Dallas fan, I can say with confidence that Dallas will never again win with Jerry Jones as owner. Oh, I 100% agree. I've been saying that for years. He's actually really good friends, Derek, apparently, with Bill Belichick. Apparently they're friends. I had not known that, but it's been all over the news. Alexa Bliss Gamer is here. What's up with you? Poor time management. Yep. Andrew Stevens is here. What's up, Andrew? Hello, Mark. I'm surprised if you still have a voice after earlier. It's a little croaky. It is it's a little off. I was kind of marking out more so than I have in a lot of shows. Jason Peace asking the same thing. How do I still have my voice? Yeah, it's a little off. It's a little off. Yeah, I was kind of going nuts. Dana Brooke never popped me much, but Ash by Elegance made my eyebrow raise, like Mr. Spock from Star Trek. Yeah, interesting. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. It's still on YouTube. Cool. Does anyone think Ash by Elegance is a takeoff on Timeless Tony Storm? Maybe. Wrestling copies each other a lot. It does happen. Rumble's in 2 weeks. Yep. RK Shuttlesworth, they aren't advertising YouTube just like they didn't advertise when they were on Twitch before. They tend to only promote things. Yeah, gotcha. Bills Game Smart, yes. They're getting hit with a major blizzard in Buffalo.
Yep.
Major blizzard. Are you getting any of that?
Yep.
Are you? You have a lot of snow?
Not a lot, but enough. Earlier it was just the wind was just whipping it. It looked like a complete whiteout. It was crazy.
Those snow squalls are brutal. We had them here too. They go through and you get like an inch in like not even 5-6 minutes.
Yeah.
And then everything gets icy. It's windy. You can't see it's the equivalent of having a snow thunderstorm. In essence is what it is. They're nasty, cause a lot of accidents and stuff like that. Very, very nasty. Everyone hit that like button for my friends Jeff and Joe. Thank you, Shane. Welcome, by the way. Greg is here. Hey, Greg. Dana is here. It's all good. I have no control. I often say that, as a fan of something, you have no control over any of it. It's wonderful to be a fan of things, and it's wonderful to have fun with it and be excited when the stuff goes your way. But when it comes right down to it, you have you have zero control over it. So, you're going to probably be in, when I was telling Jeff too earlier, when there's 28 teams, you're going to be disappointed more often than not. Unless you're a Patriots fan over the last decade or two. But you're going to come away disappointed. So it's just, it is what it is. Bonkers. Someone said on X, Brandon Wayne Lewis. Let me see. Did I miss anybody? Clown, Brian. Would Jones let Bill coach like he wants to coach? I don't know. With Jerry, it depends on how much he wants a trophy before he passes away, I think, honestly. UK, we're forecast an inch or so of snow and light breeze. Country will probably grind to a halt. Happy early birthday, Jason Peace. Okay. There you go. Jason Peace. Happy birthday to you. Or early birthday to you. Here we go. Detroit 14-3 over the Rams. And Detroit's probably going to be in the NFC Championship game, I would think. Now, well, they're going to be happy. Detroit fans are going to be thrilled now that Dallas lost. They get they're the higher seed now. So whoever wins between Philly and Tampa Green Bay goes to San Francisco. So whoever wins the game between Philly and Tampa now goes to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Since Jason mentioned his birthday, I'll just throw it in there that my birthday is the day after the Rumble. Very nice. You'll have to remind us.
Yeah, happy early birthday to you too.
Yep, happy early birthday. All right, let's get this thing started, shall we? We have, like I said, we have a lot to talk about. And Jeff, I don't know that we have necessarily any breaking news other than what we got from TNA last night. Obviously, if you didn't watch, maybe some of you that are here did not watch TNA last night, but one of the biggest news stories is, and it's trending on Twitter now, and it's been all over. It's been everywhere. It was even on Bleacher Report, and they never, ever, ever report. They used to, but they never report really on Impact Wrestling or TNA at all. So there was, though, a story on there in their wrestling section on Bleacher about this, and that is that Nick Nemeth has signed with TNA Wrestling. So got to be probably the biggest headline, I would think, coming out of last night, and one of the hugest headlines that there is in the wrestling business right now. It did. Yep, there he is, ripping off that. There's what a great moment, man. We all kind of knew something was coming, and then he comes out with the Motley Crue shirt. He kind of has this little interaction with Moose. They're kind of staring each other down. He hits Moose, takes him out, and then runs out into the crowd, has a Motley Crue shirt on, and then he just rips the Motley Crue shirt back off. There you see it there. And there it is, the TNA shirt. So Nick is signed officially to TNA. We don't know the terms yet. They did not announce the terms of the deal. I'm sure we may hear somewhere down the road how long it will be or whatever. Maybe they won't. Who knows? They might keep that private. But everybody's waiting for a big surprise, right? They had said that the worlds are going to collide. That was what the announcement was. A lot of people were, and Jeff, and I didn't notice this last night, and you could tell me if you did, but when I was reading some articles today about the show, and when I was watching some of the videos and stuff about the show, they had mentioned that you could tell that after the women's match, and Dana was in the audience, and I think I even brought this up, how it was kind of flat. Like it kind of flattened out. When the championship match came about, it was kind of quiet in there. And I kind of just assumed it was all tiredness and everything from the crowd, because they were pretty crazy the entire night. But someone had said that maybe the air got taken out of the room a little bit because they were thinking that the Worlds Collide thing was Dana. And no offense to her. They could have maybe done that a little bit of a better way, but no offense to her at all. She's fantastic, and I'm sure she's going to be great in TNA. But I think that you did see that. You did see that a lot of people were maybe thinking it was her. And then when the match was going on and it was getting close to the end and stuff like that, and then it ended. And then when the faction came out and everything like that, all the others came out to celebrate Moose's win. And then it was kind of quiet until Nick came out, and it just popped. So I think that was the case. But Jeff, what do you think of the way it was done really well? I love again how they kept, whenever we can keep things a surprise, and that's kind of why. And I told everybody this after the show last night. 3 times I marked out during the show, and all 3 things were surprises. All 3 things were surprises. So it's always so cool when you could do that. And I don't know, Jeff, and we'll probably talk about him a little bit more other than the breaking news, but Nick is such a great signing for them, not just for him, the wrestler, but for him as an example for a lot of these young people, someone who's going to work really well. We talked about him many, many, many times, saying that he's just kind of a workhorse. He just does what you need. He'll go where you need to go. He'll do what you need to do. He's going to make a lot of these young guys look really good. But I'll tell you, Jeff, I think he's there for gold, and I think at some point, I think he sees it.
Yeah, I think this is a huge signing for TNA. And, I started thinking about this a little bit earlier, but I hope I was kind of hoping that they may have held off on Ash's debut or kind of showing up like she did, just because I didn't want her to be overshadowed or for there to be a sour note, and it did kind of feel that way. Like people were like, "Oh man, I thought this wasn't a knockout, and this was," and they started, kind of going down that kind of ho hum route.
Right.
But unfortunately for her, because I think she's amazing, and I'm looking forward to see what she does in TNA. But yeah, I thought that Nick showing up and Clown is mentioning that. Yeah, I mean, Nick has already shown up in New Japan, and he's got a challenge from Matt Cardona for a GCW match, and there's a lot of stuff that that he's going to be involved with. But I think having someone of his caliber on the roster there and debuting him in that way, confronting your champion as soon as the match is over, that pretty much says what they think of him, and what a lot of people think of him is that he's a main eventer and deserves to be in the picture for some gold.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a post interview I watched with Moose. He was interviewed by the people that run the socials for them last night, and of course it was right after. So the poor guy's like out of breath. He's but it was interesting. She asked him about the appearance of Nick Nemeth, and he's like, "I'm going to discuss this some other time." And he's like, "But just know this." You don't get into my business without getting something back from it. So he said, I'll talk about it another. He didn't really want to talk about it at all, but he said he will address it at some point soon. So that's going to happen. But I don't know. I think that and yeah, Clown, I don't necessarily agree with your comment. Nick 5 years ago would be amazing. Today it's just someone who'll get lost. I don't think he gets lost at all. I don't think that's more incorrect than that. They brought him in, and like Jeff just said, they put him in he's right in the main event picture, dude. He went right after the champion. It's not like he came in and went after somebody who wasn't in the spotlight. So I don't agree with that. They brought him in to be up at the top of the card. He's a well-known guy. Listen, anybody else, maybe you could tell me, oh, he's too old or anything like that. But I with this guy, I don't think that's the case at all. He's just really good at what he does. So I thought it was awesome. And I thought it was just another, just an amazing way to cap off what was amazing pay-per-view, I thought, and I know our audience thought that too. So we'll get right into that, Jeff. We'll recap Hard to Kill. So I guess, we talked a lot last night about favorite moments. We talked a lot last night about favorite matches. So we'll kind of just, I guess, summarize this whole thing. And Jeff, I'll go to you first here. But as a new start, right? As the hype machine rolled on and hyping up TNA ever since last year, and we saw it coming, I guess the biggest thing we can ask, and you guys in the chat can let us know as well that watched it, did it, Jeff, live up to your expectations?
Yes, they delivered. They delivered, in my opinion. I think from a match quality standpoint, I went back and watched it again today, and I thought that the matches were really good. You can kind of look at the PCO match and how that ended up being a 6-man tag. Maybe that match wasn't the best, but you don't expect those matches to to be the best. But I thought it was really good night for TNA. I thought that they did a good job on I thought they did a really good job on the production, different camera angles. I thought they did a really great job with with the newer entrances and the ways that they can be displayed now. I felt like it was a really good night and a really good reintroduction into professional wrestling. And I think it was just a good night. If you're a TNA fan, I feel like you're excited today. If you're not, because I have seen some folks on social media, making some comments. The only thing I'll say is this: TNA doesn't need to try and be anyone but TNA. That's
Yeah.
it. They don't need to, have a whole bunch of gimmicks and a whole bunch of glitz and glamour. Just make sure the feed to the video works. Make sure you work out your technical bugs, and just keep putting on great wrestling matches and great wrestling content. That's what I think we need to be focused on as fans, not if they present in a way that's like WWE or AEW. They don't need to try and be those other companies. They just need to be TNA.
Yeah, 100% agree. I listen, and I said this last night. Get somebody to mark out, and what I mean by mark out is just get excited, or any way you show to do that. Mark out, of course, just being a wrestling term, but get anyone to do that during a show. Especially me, I kind of try to be a little more reserved on our show, but except for the time when I freaked out about Cody losing. Of course, I just lost my marbles that night, but I mean, it's cool when it brings emotion out. That's what wrestling's supposed to do. It's like a sport. If I were more of a Cowboys fan, I would have probably been putting my fist through the TV today. That's just what it does. And when it gets to you to do that, and you come away from a show like that, then it succeeded in what it got to do. And I think that the only people that are going to be disappointed today are going to be people that over expected things. In other words, the people that are out there that just had it in their head, convinced that Sasha Banks was going to show up, or convinced that, I don't know, insert male wrestler's name here, was going to show up. AJ Styles. We were all talking about how cool it would be if AJ said, and sure, it would have. But what we got to remember is we got to be a little more realistic too. And we got to remember that, these people are, Sasha, of course, notwithstanding, I think she's in kind of a battle for money at this point, but AJ is signed to another company, and it's sometimes just isn't that simple. Bully talks about this a lot on Busted Open, about people just don't understand the goings and, coming and goings, and Jeff knows it more than all of us of the business. And contracts for wrestling, Bully says, are very, very different. And when you're under any sort of contract, you are held very strictly to certain rules, and you can't just, like, even if AJ kind of wanted to hop a plane and be there, he can't, especially appear in public. We know Bailey and Sasha were in the audience for Trinity. We heard that from several people. Several people had shots of them there. And that, of course, they could do. They're there as spectators, but they can't be on camera. That's just a big part of the business. So I think that the people that were disappointed and upset, I think, are people like that for the most part. That's what I saw on Twitter today. And listen, I don't care if what kind of comparison can I even make here? I don't care if, like, the skies opened up and the god of wrestling fell to earth during the show. Someone would have a complaint about it. It would just be, that's just how Twitter is. People are going to complain and moan. That's just what they do, no matter what. They just like to spoil others' fun sometimes. And, it's just so. It just has to come from a personal standpoint. If you liked it, fantastic. That's what they wanted to do. To me, I told you from the jump, and the Joe Hendry stuff, laughing my head off, hysterical. Love when he does the music thing. Love that segment so much, even though Joe got beat up with Cheez-Its. Wasn't happy about that. He wasn't happy about that. And then, of course, MK Ultra, who we didn't even know was going to be at the event. They weren't announced. They weren't supposed to be. They weren't said they were going to have a title events. And then they come out, and then here comes Decay out of nowhere. The board lights up. The Decay entrance comes out. Here comes Rosemary. Here comes Havoc. Amazing. Never expected that to happen. Didn't expect them even and then they won the titles.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't see that coming. And then, of course, Dana Brooke showing up there. That I think could have been. And there you go. There's Havoc. They look awesome. Havoc, I'll tell you. I loved her during this match, Jeff. They really made her look like a badass. Like they couldn't move her. There were times when they were trying to lift her up, they could not. Really made her look like a badass, and I like that because she should be. She absolutely should be made to look that way. And so this was just a tremendous surprise. And then, like I said, Dana coming in. I know a lot of people, again, you saw that. We were wondering too. We saw the back of her, who is this? Who is this? A lot of people didn't figure out it was her. A lot of people did say, and even people in our chat last night were saying, hey, it's Dana Brooke. You were all correct. But some people assumed it was not. And I think that's when you get, you build yourself up and then you get deflated a little bit. And then, of course, the end, the 2 championship matches, Trinity and Jordynne Grace was a fantastic match between 2 of the best women wrestlers, I think, in all of pro wrestling right now. Completely 2 different styles. Jordynne with the strength and the power, Trinity with the speed and the athleticism, and just an amazing match between those 2. You did not know who was going to win till the very end of the show. And then, of course, the championship match between Moose and Shelley, which was also a fantastic match. And then again, went right down to the wire. You didn't know who was going to win that. Shelley looked like he had it. Moose ended up winning. And then the whole surprise with Nick Nemeth at the end. And let's not forget all the rest. There was so much in the tag team match for the titles. The 4-way tag teams was tremendous. I know I'm afraid the X division, the women's Ultimate X match was amazing. And of course you had your winner, Giselle Shaw, who we both talked about Giselle, and we had said that when somebody like Deonna Purrazzo puts you over, and of course she put her over on her way out of the company, there's a reason behind that. So she goes on to win that. We saw some other great wins that we saw. We got a signing of, oh God, there. This is freaking hilarious, dude. He couldn't make it in the NFL. Oh my God, I was dying. That was so funny, dude. So funny. And I imagine, Jeff, when we talked about this, I'm gonna almost bet that he is going to be announced as being signed very soon.
Yeah,
very, very soon.
I hope so.
I don't really think they would have done that with Hendry unless there was going to be a continuation of it.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, so I would be surprised if you weren't signed, and we may even see that as soon as tomorrow when Snake Eyes ends tonight and is over and stuff like that. And by the way, don't spoil it for yourselves, guys. I know there are going to be pictures of it out there. It's live tonight. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it for yourself. It ruins it. It just ruins it. Wait for it to be on TV. Patience is a virtue. Wait for it to be on TV and watch it. It'll be so much better. Don't read the results. Don't spoil things for yourself. It's just so much cooler when that doesn't happen. So I'm just telling you, just a better way to enjoy wrestling. The Havoc return, Rosemary and Havoc back, a very, very popular team. And the 2 of them, and I said last night, Jeff, and I know you had mentioned, we talked about this, I think actually after the show. I hope though that this doesn't mean the end of MK Ultra and of course Masha and oh my God,
Killer.
Thank you, Masha, Killer Kelly. Aren't that we haven't seen the last of them. Because they're awesome. And so I hope that doesn't mean they're leaving or anything like that, because that'd be a little bit of a big hit to the women's division. They're both very, very good. So hopefully they stick around. And some people are saying maybe they get into a feud against each other. We've seen that before though. But in any case, I don't know. What else stood out to you, Jeff, from last night? Like I said, there was just so much going on. Let's not forget the PCO entrance. Dude.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing.
He was he comes in on a gurney surrounded by a bunch of doctor, surgeon type guys, and he's laying there, and one of them gets jumper cables, and then all of a sudden you see the and they wake him up. That was just fantastic, and people are really talking about that a lot. Like there are some people saying, yeah, I mean, this dude is in his 50s and look at this kind of stuff that he's doing. I mean, it's top-notch stuff. That was tremendous. Santino getting involved with that whole thing. That was awesome as well. Rhino, of course, we saw him come out, which was cool. Yeah, it was. There were so many moments in this show last night. Hammerstone and Josh, my gosh. That was a rhyme, and I didn't even mean to do that. But those two put on a clinic, and you want to talk about very early results for match of the year? You can probably look at that one as we get toward the end of the year. It was tremendous. Loved the selling in it. Hammerstone, of course, with the knee injury and stuff like that, and going through the motions with that throughout the show. Hoping they maybe decide to bring Hammerstone on. He was badass in that. So just some great. What were some of the highlights, Jeff, that you had from this show? Things that kind of stuck with you and that you really enjoyed seeing.
Yeah, so I think for me, seeing the matches that we got on the countdown show, honestly, were pretty good.
Yep.
Macklin and Rich Swann kicking off the TNA era, and Macklin picking up that win. I think that's huge for him for this year. And obviously AJ Francis and Joe Hendry, the whole video that Joe Hendry put together. It's just great. But ultimately, here's what I really hope, just being a little bit silly. I hope that AJ Francis is able to pull him into a rap battle.
Oh,
can you imagine Joe Hendry, AJ Francis rap battle?
Oh my God, that'd be tremendous.
Set it up like the movie 8 Mile, and
that would be tremendous.
It will be tremendous. So, a little wishful thinking on my part, but I want that to happen. I need that to happen. Even if we just get it on the socials, that's fine. Yes. I'm cool with that. But no, I thought it was a great night. I thought that Hard to Kill really delivered. Again, I think some people want to see all the bells and whistles at the beginning, but then you have nothing to grow towards or strive for. So I think a lot of the bells and whistles will come. I think that'll happen. So just be patient, be happy to go along with the ride, because I think it's going to be a fun one. And listen, there's plenty of room for everyone.
Yes.
On this TNA train. So hop on board. It's fine.
Yeah, and let's not forget too, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit later as well. But let's not forget we got a brand new faction right off the board.
Yeah.
Wrestling is really good when we have factions. It really is. And it's kind of looking, we talked to Tazzy, Jeff and I talked about this last night after the show, but it's really looking like this year could be the year of the factions in wrestling. We're getting a lot of them already. We have the Kross one, which we have to talk about coming up in WWE. We have already had some established in there as well. And now we have this one, which they are calling the System. So this is Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, Moose, Alicia, and former NFL and occasional pro wrestler D'Angelo Williams is in with them as well. So already we have a faction. The faction has a champion in it. So that's big. And I think factions just make wrestling fun. They really do, because you can have all these little battles going on. You can have one-on-one battles, of course, for the championship, but then you can have all these little side battles going on with the people who are trying to fight off the faction so they don't get too powerful. I mean, you go back to WCW, right? WCW was ruled by the NWO, and then you got these separate factions and stuff like that, which got a little too carried away. But I don't know, Jeff. I think wrestling is just always better when a faction is there, and we're going to segue into that with our next segment too. But what do you think of the fact? Listen, when we had the whole Honor No More thing going on, it was really fun. They took a lot of the side stories and stuff and gave it to that. And I think that's good. And listen, I'm sure we're going to have somebody somewhere rise up with another faction to battle the system, which could be newly bearded Eric Young, Frankie Kazarian. They call themselves the TNA Originals. And maybe that's going to be some sort of faction as well. So maybe they'll be the ones that stand up to these guys. But I don't know, man. I like it. I think it's cool. And like I said, I think wrestling's always better when factions are around.
Yeah, and I think too, like when we think about old school TNA, we think about lots of tag teams and factions, and I think this kind of harkens back to that time. And why not? I mean, you've got some great talent there. Give them all something to do. You're bringing new eyes to the product, so yeah, join some people up. And I'm digging this group right now. I want to see who comes together to go up against them, but I'm digging the makeup of the group so far. James Chadwick talking about Zaya Brookside.
Yep.
Yeah, she signed. I'm so happy for her. And again, like you said, Joe, that Ultimate X match last night was really, really good. And I think every knockout in that match has the potential to have a really big year, a breakout year for each of them.
Yep. Really interested to see what's going to happen too with Tasha Steelz. Tasha went right on her Twitter last night and wrote, "What's next?" with a question mark. So what I think is going to happen with her, I think we're going to get a little bit of a character change from her. I think we might see a meaner, nastier Tasha Steelz instead of the one that's that's maybe a little joking around, a little bit of. I think we're going to get a lot nastier side of Tasha Steelz going forward, which is very cool too. So wrapping it all up. I agree with Jeff. I think it was a great show. I think it's a great start to TNA. And listen, guys, TNA is back. Just showing from the amount of attention it's gotten in the media. Like I said, larger sports places now talking about it again, whereas they kind of ignored it during Impact a little bit, except for maybe the time with Kenny and everything. But even that was kind of skewed because it was mostly in favor of Kenny and AEW. But it's back. I think it's here to stay. I think, and if you think they're done signing people, you've probably got another thing coming because there's going to be a lot of that, I think, too. Remember, they do a lot of that usually around Slammiversary time where they bring in new people. So I don't think the new faces are done. But I think it's going to be just a tremendous year for them. And what that means is you have to come and watch us every single week to see what happens because it's going to be cool. And like I said, man, you're coming in. You guys are, listen, those of you who started doing it and started watching, you're coming in at all new storylines here, all new storylines. All this stuff is new. These aren't continuations of stuff that was going on in Impact Wrestling. This is all new. It's a great jumping on point. And so come out, start watching it, check it out with us every single Thursday. We will be here for it. And of course, all the PLEs and stuff too. So that's about it. That wraps up our look back at Hard to Kill. But speaking of factions, Jeff, I think we have another faction we might want to talk about.
Yeah, we got another faction to chat about here. Karrion Kross introduces a new faction, Joe.
Yeah, so many people, myself included, I really love Karrion Kross. I do. I know Tazzy's a big fan of his as well. His time in NXT and that entrance and stuff was just iconic, off the charts. And everybody's kind of wondering to see what is going to happen with this guy. What is going on with him? He never got involved with anything really big. And then, he's getting beat up on a constant basis. Almost every week he was losing. And all of a sudden you see Bobby Lashley, speaking of factions, oh man, my brain is shot with the Street Profits. Sorry. Yeah. With the Street Profits, and they come out, and it's kind of cool because this harkens back to when Kross lost to Bobby. And that was just maybe like 3-4 weeks ago. So, and now I love the entrance. Paul Ellering comes out. We haven't seen Paul Ellering in a while, man. Paul Ellering comes out, standing on the stage, points up at the board, and then you see, and I mean, what a faction this is, Jeff. Not only you have Karrion Kross, but you have AOP, two of the biggest dudes, the strongest dudes in pro wrestling today. And then Scarlett, of course, is a factor always, but now you have Paul Ellering and Scarlett out there. Jeff, I don't know where this is going to go. Obviously, it looks as if it's a heel faction, so I guess I kind of like that. But I don't know. I think this is a good direction to take Kross as to where they're going to go. There you can see they just laid out the Street Profits. And then, of course, the final prayer T-shirts. And I think this is fantastic. I think it's going to be a really fun faction, and I'm excited to see it, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm really happy for Karrion Kross.
Yeah, I just want to say I don't know where it's going, but I like the start of it.
Yep.
And whatever they end up doing, I really, really hope it works out for Karrion Kross, because I really enjoy his work, and just really want something to work out for him on the main roster, because I think he's very talented and deserves a spot.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Paula Ellering entering the Hall of Fame. I didn't see your IPWF comment. What was it? Do you think D'Angelo Williams will come back to wrestle in TNA? I don't know. Anything's possible. Jeff answered you there. I don't know if he's back around full time. Wouldn't mind it. Sorry to hear, James. That sucks. I don't get those very much. Might be having sinus issues or something there. Yeah, I feel better. I'd like to see the reinformation of the main event Mafia. Paul Ellering for Hall of Fame. A new main event Mafia. Josh Hammerstone, Motor City Machine Guns, and Tasha Steelz. Wow, could you imagine that? SmackDown is stable heavy. God bless Paul Ellering. How does this make Lashley's faction look? Oh, they're going to have.
I was going to type in an answer, but
go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. I don't think this hurts them right now. What I don't think you have happen, though, is you have them continuing to beat down this faction, because you're trying to establish both. So I think what you do is you have, this faction looks tall this week, stand tall this week. And then next week you have Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. I think they're being called the Pride now.
Yeah.
You have them stand tall the following week, and you just kind of trade blows back and forth. And I mean, you got a lot of different directions. I mean, not only, I think the 6-man tag is the final match, but think about all the singles matchups you can do based on these two factions feuding right now. So
yes. Yeah, and this is, look, we don't know. I mean, you can have something happen kind of like where maybe they end up having a 3-on-3 match at some point, and maybe Bobby and the Profits end up losing because of interference from the Valets. You might get interference from Scarlett, you might get interference from Ellering, and that may cost them. So Bobby may need to find himself some help in that aspect. So maybe he gets someone that's going to help him outside of the ring a little bit down the road. But from what it looks like, this is what we're going to see. Both of these teams are going to probably be going at it for a little bit. This could even extend to the Rumble. It could extend past the Rumble and into WrestleMania season as well. But I think this is cool. Look, just so many people that are fans of Kross. I think they're really, really happy to see it. Tazzy said this faction is going to be amazing. I get one of my favorite wrestlers with one of my favorite managers in Paul, so I'm juiced. Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be really good. Jason wants to know, how about DJ Too Large and AJ Francis on IPWF? They'd be great there. I just don't know if they're going to continue that. I hope so. It's going to take a long time for us to see that. It won't be obviously until next November if they decide to do it. But yeah, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
DRO is here. What's up with you? How are you? Do you think Kross needs to shave his head and back to NXT look? No, I think he's fine. I think he's fine with the slick back black hair. I think he looks good. My lasting impression of Kross will always be him punching that cinder block through Trevor Lee's skull. Imagine faction match at Survivor Series. Kross has Scarlett, so Bobby will get BFAB. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. They might, I would love to see them I would love to see them go back to the faction that they had before, but I think they're pretty transfixed with the new name, so I don't think they're going to change it. But I would like to see them go back. They might not want to because that was happening during COVID, and I think they want to kind of try to forget about all that. Which I don't blame them. I don't blame them for that. So. Yeah, man, it looks like it's going to be a year of factions, and I'm down with that. I'm down with that. I like factions. I think it's a lot of fun. All right, moving on. What do we got next? Oh, boy. You want to talk about starting up discussions. And my gosh, I'm sure we're going to get into it because, this is where we do that. Is Rock and Roman happening and when? So, unless you were under a rock for the past month or so, you did not see this, but The Rock, of course, appeared with Jinder Mahal, and The Rock kind of took out Jinder, and then as he's walking away, he's telling everybody in San Diego that he's going to go out on the town, and then he said, I'm going to go to a bar, and he says, where should I sit? Should I sit at the bar? Should I sit at the table? Or should I sit at, or whatever other one is, and then should I sit at the head of the table? And of course, everybody marked down. Everybody was on the edge of their seats, screaming and yelling. It was a fantastic thing. And then of course Roman responded to him with just a laugh emoji on Twitter. So now of course the rumors are flowing. You didn't hear anything definite. I know there's a lot of people. Look at that. Look at that. Is that Young Rock?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that show, by the way. It's so good. But the rumors are flying, man. And, a lot of people are wondering, is this going to be a match? Now, nothing has been confirmed. There's nothing that has been confirmed. This is all rumor. And we don't know if they're going to do anything. All we know is that he was acknowledged by Roman, and that was it. So right away, the discussion goes to, okay, where and when are they going to wrestle? Is it going to be in Perth? Is it going to be at the Chamber? Is it going to be at WrestleMania? Well, here's the thing. We don't know if it's going to happen at all. It may have been a tease. We don't know if it's going to happen. And if it is, I mean, it could almost happen anywhere, but this has always been my opinion. So first of all, we heard rumors to this effect years ago around COVID time that during a WrestleMania coming up, and it was the one that was in LA, that it was supposed to be Rock and Roman for the title. That was the rumor. Now, this wouldn't be for a title, I don't think. Maybe it would be, but and Rock had already said outside of the business that he would put Roman over if the two of them ever wrestled, because that is what he would do. So we kind of already would know the outcome. Rock is not winning the title. So because he's not going to stay there.
The title shouldn't even be in the picture at all.
Agreed. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be for a title. It should be. And we already saw a sneak peek of Roman having one of those matches for the tribal chief, right? He did that with Jey Uso. So that could be what's on the line, is that necklace that he wears that looks like red peppers could be on the line for that match, because that's in essence what he's saying. I want to be head of the table. I want to be in charge. So that's what it's going to be if they do it. Now, the other kicker to this is, and I've had people arguing with me up and down about this, is where and when this is going to be, if it does indeed happen. Guys, this is my opinion, obviously, but this is a WrestleMania match. I'm sorry. And I know that there are people out there who want Cody's story to end and beat Roman. Believe me, you're looking at the guy who got so upset last WrestleMania because that didn't happen. I want it to happen too, and I think it should happen. However, go back to what Paul Heyman said after the press conference when he said, we are in inning 3 in a baseball match of this. This was only a year ago that he said that. So why would you not believe that he was telling the truth when he said, we're only in the 3rd inning? I don't really believe that Cody is taking that belt off of Roman. I am strictly under the impression that Roman is going to beat Hulk Hogan's record. He is close enough to it now where he only has to go to September and then he beats Hulk Hogan's record. And believe me, with all the stuff that Hulk Hogan has done, they're going to probably want him to be eclipsed anyway. So I truly believe that's what's going to happen. And what better way to do it than have a match with The Rock at WrestleMania. There's no title on the line, so he wouldn't lose the title. Now, some people are saying, well, why not have it in Australia? Why not have it in, the chamber? Because Australia is 13 hours ahead of the United States in all different timetables, okay? If they did that, now let's say Tazzy does all the overseas pay-per-views. So let's say he does it, right? He would be streaming at 4:30 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. That show would come on Eastern time at 7 in the morning. You are going to lose a ton of viewers, a ton, because no one is going to stay up and watch. Now, yes, they'll watch later on, but that's not necessarily what they want. So it doesn't make sense to me that they would do that. So I really don't know. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong, but it just seems logical that if this does happen, it's going to happen at Mania. It's a huge match. Huge. Rock, Roman. Imagine that on the marquee. And then imagine on the undercard or on night one, you get Seth and CM Punk for the title. And night two, it's Rock and Roman. That's huge. Absolutely huge. Now, Cody Roman is huge too, but I'm sorry. And you can tell me as much as you like Cody. I love Cody, but Cody's not The Rock. It's plain and simple. Cody's not The Rock. So if this does happen, we shall see how it goes. But I don't know, Jeff. I don't know. I don't even, to be honest with you, from what we've seen, I don't even think it may happen. He could have just been teasing. I don't even know. We haven't gotten any confirmation whatsoever. And I would imagine we're going to have to hear about it soon because they kind of like to announce the stuff for WrestleMania after the Royal Rumble goes by. You'll know who your Rumble winners are and stuff like that and who's going to challenge for the title. So I don't know. To me, it may have just been a tease for the audience to get people hyped. And if it does indeed happen, though, I'm definitely under the impression that it's going to happen at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all depends on what you're trying to do here. And, WrestleMania, I think sometimes folks kind of get it twisted when it comes to WrestleMania because, you want to see the best matchups, but it's also a spectacle event. And what's a bigger spectacle than Rock versus Roman? I mean, you want to talk about the big, two of the biggest names ever at a WrestleMania. That's just something that's like a dream matchup. Now, again, like Joe said, we haven't gotten anything confirmed, so a lot of it's speculation on behalf of the social media, threads and all that stuff. But I think if you're gonna do the match, it probably has to take place at WrestleMania. But my question to all of this is that what happens if Cody is somehow added to that match? What does that do? If you're a fan of Cody and you're a fan of him finishing his story, which I saw someone say this earlier in the chat, I have a sneaking suspicion that Roman ain't dropping that title until he surpasses Hulk Hogan's reign. I don't think that's going to happen. But let's say it does happen at WrestleMania and Cody ends up in a triple threat. Are you okay with that if you're a fan of Cody? And does that adequately complete his story in your eyes? Or is there something else that you would want there? But yeah, I think whenever it happens, whatever happens, I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great moment for wrestling. And again, we're getting a lot of cool stuff in 2024 as wrestling fans. So I think we should, just be patient and, understand that we can fantasy book it and do everything from every different angle, but whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And I feel like we as fans will be happy.
Yeah, totally agree. I don't know. I think that we get so passionate about things that we want to see happen, and I get that way too. But I just, again, I'm just definitely under the impression now that we're this close. We're months away, right? 8 months away from where he would beat Hulk Hogan's record. I just think at this point it's too close. And the fact that you go by what Heyman said about being in the third inning, I don't think they're done. And I don't know. I mean, Jeff was the one who said this on our show months back, and I still kind of tend to agree. I don't know that it's going to be Cody that's going to do it. I don't know that it's not going to be meant for Solo. I just don't. We've seen this movie so many times in gangster type films, which is kind of the story they're doing. It's the person who's in the family that takes out the leader. And that would be just a classic story. And that could be where this goes. At some point, Roman loses. You end up, Solo ends up getting upset with Roman for something. He does something to piss him off, and then that's what's going to happen. He's going to turn on Roman Reigns, and if they want Roman to lose it, I don't know. Can you think of a better person to be the next tribal chief than Solo Sikoa? So if that's maybe what they're going to do, I mean, again, like Jeff said, it's wrestling, so they could do it any number of ways. They could always split it up where he loses the tribal chief thing to Solo somewhere down the road rather than the title. So maybe when he loses the title, you could go with it that way too, where he loses the title, let's say to Cody, and then all of a sudden Solo makes it, kind of says, hey, I don't know, that looks pretty weak, man. You don't look like you're the tribal chief anymore. You lost. So now I'm coming after that. I want to be the tribal chief. So you can go with it that way too. That's another way you could tell the story. But either way, I think, guys, you're going to have to be prepared. You're going to have to wait. And like I said, I wasn't happy either. The last time that Roman had a match I think it was the match with LA Knight, I came out of that a little unhappy too. But you know what? Then I listened to some people talk about it, and Bully Ray had mentioned that Roman has become a spectacle. He is now a spectacle. That's exactly what he is. He shows up 4 times a year. He wrestles 4 matches a year, and that's it. He is a spectacle. You go back to the days when Jeff and I were younger to a guy like Andre the Giant. Andre was a spectacle. He couldn't wrestle now, maybe he did when he was a little younger, but he wasn't at all the matches. He wasn't on the weekly Sunday TV show or Saturday TV shows, never showed up there. He wrestled at the big events, and that was it. So now Roman is doing that. And, look, it's working. If you like it or not at this point, if you're bored with it, whatever the case might be, they're selling tons of tickets. They're selling out arenas. And whether people want to come there to see if maybe he will lose, or whether they're going to see more of the same, where his family comes out and attacks everybody else and Roman walks away with the title again. I can tell you right now, he's in a fatal 4-way. What's the easiest way? And Jeff will attest. What's the easiest way to protect the champion?
He ain't taking the pin. Somebody else is taking the pin, and that way.
Put him in a fatal 4-way. Easiest way to protect the champion, because you have 4 different people. Yes, that the odds are stacked against him winning, like they said, but that now that Jay is involved and Solo's involved and stuff like that, and they took a beating this past week, that they're going to come out, they're going to take out 2 of those other guys, so Roman is going to win that match. Let's just say Roman is going to win. It's going to be a fun match to watch, but Roman's going to come away with the win in that match. And what they're going to do with that's going to split off into other feuds. You're going to either see AJ Styles going up against Randy Orton, or you're going to see AJ and LA Knight, which looks a little bit more likely. And then Randy may go after Solo and branch off, and who knows what's going to come of that. But this is just setting up future storylines too. But anyway, don't get too hot or upset about it, because this may never happen. This is, again, it's rumors that have been talked about, because everybody, once they saw The Rock, are like, oh my God, Rock's back. It's all rumors, guys. Bottom line is, we just don't know. We just don't know. But that said, like I said earlier with TNA, be there for the story. Just ride along with the story, because that's the fun of wrestling. Don't always have it be where you have to know the result and have to know how it's going to end, because it's more fun going along for the ride. So we'll see what happens. But in any case, keep an eye out because I'm sure this will always be in the headlines. So, all right, Jeff, I think we're gonna do a little predicting here.
Yeah. So the Rumble coming up in a couple weeks, and we really don't know who's going to win it. There's a host of people who could stake claim to that, and I feel like that's a good thing. But what are your thoughts here?
Man, this is a stacked Rumble, really. When you think about this, I'm sure you see Jade Cargill up there. We know CM Punk is in it. We know that Cody Rhodes is in it. Obviously, we've had some others put their stake in. Bobby Lashley just said that he was in it. So we know who's going to be in this. But who is going to win it? Jade right in the middle. Wow, she seems like a good pick, doesn't she? We've seen her backstage. We've seen her around. She's training and stuff like that. The whole question is she going to be in NXT or is she going to be vaulted right to the main roster and maybe even have a shot at Rhea Ripley possibly, or it could be Io Sky, but she would be a huge pick to possibly win. Hey, now that we know that Trinity lost last night at TNA, obviously a lot of the rumors were saying she's headed back to WWE. Do we see Trinity make an entrance in the Rumble? She could be a possibility winning it. Any of the women you're seeing here, obviously Io has a title already, but I'm sure many of them, Asuka, Kyrie, Bayley, they might all be in the Royal Rumble in one form or another. So any of them are Bianca Belair. The only person we know for sure that's not winning is Charlotte Flair because she's out injured. So she's not going to be there. But and then, yes, and then of course you have the Mercedes Moné rumors, and that she's going to show up there. And if that would happen, that would surprise everybody and shock a lot of people because there's been no indication that she is signed anywhere, at least nothing that the dirt sheets can see or have seen. So that could be the case too, and we might see something along those lines. But I don't know. I mean, to me, Jeff, I think this is going to be a really exciting Royal Rumble because honestly, there are so many names that I think that could be winners of these matches. You could have Gunther win the men's Royal Rumble very easily, and I'd be perfectly okay with that. I know some people are going to say for the men, it's going to either be Cody or it's going to be Punk, one or the other, because then they could call their shot. But I don't think that necessarily has to happen. And then, look, you still have Damian Priest holding a briefcase out there at some point as well, which people tend to forget about. But yeah, I don't know, Jeff. I think this might be one of the coolest Rumbles we've seen in a long time because I think we're going to see a lot of surprises during this show.
Yeah, I think that we'll see some things that we didn't really think we'd see. But it makes it interesting because you think about the dynamic here, and you've got CM Punk saying, "Listen, I've got a main event one of the nights of WrestleMania," and you've got Cody trying to do the same thing, and then that's not even mentioning everything on the women's side. And my pick this year is going to be Bayley. That's my pick. I think it creates some interesting decisions for Bayley, who she should challenge. So, but no, I think this year's Rumble is a lot of fun because there's a lot of unpredictability. You throw out someone like Drew McIntyre. I mean, there's a lot, that you could do here, and I'm excited about that because again, it's not as predictable. We can't just say, oh yeah, they're pushing so and so they're definitely going to win the Rumble this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely true. I think it's very up in the air. I mean, look how much they're giving pushes to people like Nia Jax, and really making a point of where, how's somebody going to beat her? She just beat Becky Lynch, and say what you will about like her or hate her. She just had a wonderful, appearance there with Becky where she laid Becky out. I mean, that's another person that they're kind of talking up for that match. And then you've got people, and Tazzy would know, you got people who can come up from NXT, easily be brought up for the Royal Rumble as well from down there. So you're going to have a very full Royal Rumble with a lot of people. Like Jeff was mentioning some names on the men's side, of course, Drew. And Kross could be one of them now. Maybe AOP is involved in the men's rumble in some way. Those factions maybe get together. We know Bobby's already in there, so maybe Kross will be in it as well, and the factions will be on the outside, and there'll be interference in the match somehow. I think I think it's going to be a fun one. I do. I think a lot of people are going to. You'll have the expectations going in like everybody does. The big one is going to be until she actually signs. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of hoping she would already. But until she actually does, you're going to have Mercedes' name thrown around every which way. She's going to be at the Rumble. She's going to be at AEW. She's going to be here. She's going to be there. She hasn't shown up yet. So I think that's going to be, that's going to be talked about with everyone until she finally does show up at some point somewhere. So, but I think it's going to be a fun show. We already got that match. We know we're going to get a fatal 4-way for the title during that the Royal Rumble, which is going to be good stuff. And there might be other championship matches that may happen too. Maybe Gunther's belt is even put on the line in the Rumble also. So I think it's going to be fun. I do. James Grant's talking Tiffany Stratton. Yeah. Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade. They can all be part of the Rumble. Absolutely. Absolutely. What if it were Punk and Cody Rhodes as the final two? I think that's fitting because they could be. They could be both in
Why not?
Yeah. They could both be at the finals. Yeah. I mean, both of them were in that other company, right? Kind of interesting stuff. Hope AJ Lee is in the Rumble. Yeah, that's another rumor. I know every time CM Punk did her little pose that she used to do on the ropes a couple nights ago, where he kind of like laid between the two ropes and put his hand on his head, and everybody's like, look, it's AJ Lee. People go off with such little things. You guys don't really understand. These guys have you in the palm of their hands. They absolutely have you in the palm of their hands. They do these little teases, and it's like, gotcha. And then everybody goes out on social media and be like, look, this means that she's coming back. They got you. And Cora got hurt. I didn't hear that. Hey, Conrad, how are you? What's going on? The family needs to get to I saw a hospital thing. Sorry, I'm late checking on family in the storm. Yeah, I heard that's a horrible, horrible blizzard happening up there. Stay safe, dude. That can be terrible when you get stuff like snow, power outages, and all that kind of stuff. It's horrendous, and Buffalo gets that a lot. So Mercedes will be here. We'll be in a box in the Fox. She's Dr. Seuss. Yes. Yeah, maybe so. But anyway, the Rumble's going to be fun. And guess what? We'll be here for it. So make sure you join us in just a couple of weeks for the Royal Rumble match. It'll be fun. All right. Next up, speaking of, we're segueing well tonight here. Well, let's all answer the question. We know she's not into TNA, at least not yet. Where will Mercedes Moné end up? There were rumors saying she's going to be at AEW a couple of Wednesdays ago. That didn't happen. And it ended up being Deonna Purrazzo who showed up there. Then we were told maybe she might show up and be that big Worlds Collide thing last night at TNA, and that didn't happen. The other rumors were she's in a bidding war with WWE and AEW for money. And so far, we haven't heard anything yet. Or should I say Moné? But obviously, look, and I'll just say this. She took a bet on herself, and she obviously won. She is going to she's going to make bank. She is going to make bank. And if she has two people in a bidding war, that's one of the best things you could do as either professional athlete or in any profession, really. If there's somebody's going to get in a bidding war and try to pay you more, why not? Why not? So I don't know what her injury status is. I know she was injured. I don't know if she's cleared. So I don't know how soon it will be that we will see her in a wrestling ring. I don't know where she's going to go. I wouldn't necessarily say one way or the other that she's going to go to WWE or AEW, but I know those two factions, those two groups of fans are going to fight it out until she shows up somewhere. So to be honest, I really don't know the answer to this. I don't really know what to say because now the next place that it'll be the Rumble. If the Rumble comes and goes and she's not there, then they're going to say that she's going to show up at the W or the AEW pay-per-view. So this is just going to keep going until somebody can finally confirm that she is actually signed someplace. And I don't know that it's going to keep going. I don't know how long this is. If this is about money, indeed about money, this could go a while. Because if you're pitting two big companies up against one another and trying to get them to shell out that money, I don't know. This could be a little bit of time to go, especially come in the fact that now, she's got an injury. You don't know if that's going to linger, if that's going to stop her from being in the ring for a little bit and all that kind of stuff. So this is going to go on for a while, I think. I wouldn't expect it, if I were you guys, to see her show up right away, because I kind of think that it's going to drag out. And I wouldn't count out necessarily TNA yet either. And I love when people don't mention them in the discussion with WWE and AEW because of money. I love that. I just love it and I always retort with that on Twitter by saying, do you not understand who Anthem is? Do you not go to go to Google and Google Anthem and find out how much the net worth of that company is? Like, do you not understand that if they want something, they can get it? So, stop just being, a company homer and just say, oh, no, she can't go there. You are totally wrong. If you think it's the money, you are totally wrong. Now, the question is, do they want to spend that money? And that's probably what the question is in every company. Jeff, I honestly don't know. At this point, I'm stumped. I don't know where she's going to be, but honestly, I'm kind of hoping it's announced soon. So we can be over this, to be honest.
Yeah, I was looking back, and we've talked about this a few times, but so I won't go on about it. But I'll just say this: we have another segment, we have another topic on her in another segment, so I'll save more of my thoughts on her for there. But I just think that this is, even though it's dragging out a little longer than I think a lot of people want it to, I think the fact that she's commanding the attention that she is says a lot about where we are with women's wrestling in 2024. And like you said earlier, she bet on herself, and she raised those offers even higher from where she was before. So good for her. She's increased her value, and that's all you want to do, is you want to be able to command what it is that you receive from an employer. So I'm happy for her. Hopefully we do find out something. Hopefully it's not something we see reported on social media. Hopefully they get it wrong and she just shows up, and wherever that may be. I know where I'd like for her to be. But again, I'm not gonna be a homer myself here, but I just feel like wherever she goes, she's gonna make a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's that kind of athlete. She's that kind of wrestler. She's definitely a box office draw. There's no doubt about it. She's been in very famous, she's in The Mandalorian, which was huge. She's been doing stuff like that too. So she's gonna make bank. She's gonna get money, and that's if that's what she's looking for, then hats off. Yeah, she's gonna get it. So wherever she shows up, we'll see. All right, moving on. We had another big thing happen. I didn't see this. We were told this during the show last night because I didn't realize that this happened. But look at this. Jack Perry, in his first appearance at New Japan Pro Wrestling Battle in the Valley. And this is from the Observer. Jack Perry made his first appearance since All In at New Japan Pro Wrestling Battle in the Valley, tearing up his AEW contract in his company debut. He jumped the rail following the main card opener. And there you can see he's tearing it up, attacking New Japan Pro Wrestling Shota Umino. Perry then tore up an AEW contract in the ring and put an armband reading Scapegoat on. After a backstage altercation with CM Punk at AEW, we all know this, Perry was suspended indefinitely by AEW. His current status is unknown. So Jack Perry is, He's part of New Japan. Or
Or is he?
or is he? Is this part of a storyline? And listen, guys, it very easily could be. He could still be part of AEW. AEW does stuff with New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's coming out with the armband saying scapegoat. I don't know. To me, this smells of a storyline. I think that he's just back, and he's just going to appear there. And I think you're going to see this going. Who knows? Maybe they'll start some kind of a thing. Look, if that's what they're going to do, and they're going to make him, come out like the disgruntled ex-employee and stuff, and that's what they're going to do with him, that's all right. That's cool. That's a cool storyline. I kind of like it if that's what they're going to do with it. We'll see, and then maybe he, I don't know, maybe at some point he says that, I'm over here, but maybe he'll show up at AEW Dynamite and start attacking people in arenas and things like that. We've seen people do that behind the stage and stuff like that. And then, they'll do the whole thing where get him out of the building, get security. He doesn't belong here. You know how that goes. Maybe that's something we'll see here. I certainly think that it feels that way. I think it feels like it's a storyline. Yes, he was suspended indefinitely, but that doesn't mean he's not employed by them anymore. It doesn't mean that he's not on the roster. He looks like almost got. I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of like his look. He looks a little more rugged to me. I like the long hair and the beard and stuff like that. I kind of dig that. He looks like a badass, and I'm good with that. I'm good with that. He looks like he's pissed. It looks like he's mad at the world, which that's perfectly cool. I'm good with that. Looks like a true lost man from the jungle. But yeah, I'd be shocked to see that this wasn't a storyline. But in either case, we'll see how this plays out. I kind of, what I like. I like the fact that it's shown in New Japan, and I like the fact that they're using other places for these stars to appear in, showing that, just like we got the big announcement last night with TNA and AAA and their little partnership and working together and stuff like that. These guys, obviously, AEW has a partnership with New Japan. They have a joint pay-per-view. So this might be something you might see happening here. And again, I'm cool with this. It's fun. Again, it gets fans of both companies involved, and you kind of have a bridge between both. But yeah, I'm cool with this. I'm cool with it. Play on that CM Punk story. Do whatever you got to do. I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, imagine being able to take something that happens backstage and spinning it into a storyline. That's pretty darn good, I would say, if you can do that. There have been opportunities to do that before. So what I will say is this. I do think this is a storyline. And I like it because it's blurring the lines, and that's what we want. We want to have, these great stories blur the lines of reality and wrestling, and that's what this is doing. And yeah, RK Shuttleworth saying that Jack Perry put a scapegoat logo on his arm. So again, I like it. Blur those lines, folks. Blur those lines. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree. That's just, look, that's when wrestling's good. Is when when you're, like Jeff's saying, you're blurring the lines between reality and fiction, and that's when wrestling works out well. So good for him. I always thought he was a fun character in AEW, the whole Jungle Boy thing, and he was well over with that. I could see him being kind of a nasty dude too. He's got that little nasty beard, he's kind of got a little. What does he look like? He has got a little Charles Manson thing going on there. Long hair, long beard, the mustache, he's got a little bit of a psycho thing going on. I'm good with that. He spent a little too much time in the jungle. That's what happened. His hair just grew out, and so I'm cool with that. I think it's cool. So I know a lot of people were going nuts about that too. Like, oh my God, he tore up his contract. Guys, it's wrestling. It's wrestling. Stop.
Yeah.
But I'm good with it. I think it's fun. So, all right, moving on. I think we're getting out of the news yet. Oh no, we got that. Oh
no, we got two. We got two more. We're gonna go over a good usage of social media first, though, and talk about AEW using some social media juice to hype this up. We had a video of Athena at her training school, and then Nyla Rose attacks her. So good stuff there.
I didn't even see this. I'm reading about it right now. Nyla Rose crept up from behind, said, "Surprise, bitch." Rose hammered Athena and ran roughshod through the minions. And Nailed Beast finished her path of destruction by choke slamming Athena through a wooden board. Attack was certainly an effective way to demand attention from the champ. Rose is on a 3-match winning streak in ROH with victories over Zoe Lynn, Vert Vixen, and Alejandra Lyon. And this is coming, by the way, we're from SB Nation. I want to make sure I quote them because I'm reading this. Does this budding feud between Athena and Nyla have your interest? I like Nyla. Always have. And Athena's been killing it.
Yeah.
Athena's been killing it in Ring of Honor. We all know that. She was one of the people that was, in fact, she got a lot of votes on our TIGS Awards for Female Wrestler of the Year. So she's on a roll. I like Nyla too. Nyla's an absolute beast in the ring. She has been since AEW even started. And I will say this, and credit where credit is due. I do complain a lot, and I think it's well deserved about AEW and their women's division because I don't think they utilize them enough. However, that said, I do have to give kudos here because they are doing a good job with using them on Ring of Honor. And we all know, of course, AEW owns Ring of Honor, so it is an AEW thing. So at least they are doing that. They're spotlighting these women on Ring of Honor, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, listen, the socials are there to do this kind of thing. And this is what more people should do, is use the socials as a way to push through these feuds or to get people excited about a faction, let's say. That's what they should be used for, not other things, which we'll get to in a little bit. But look, this is the proper use of that kind of thing. Get people hyped about this. This is going to be a good program between these two. And hey, anytime you can see these women spotlighted, like I said, I'm all for it. Nyla kind of carried AEW at the very start when she was there. And Athena obviously is just killing it. We all know where she came from and who she is. So I'm good with this. I think this is cool. And like you were saying, Jeff, a good use of social media for a change.
Yeah, because we're gonna get to another use of social media here in a second. Joe, can you check the private chat real quick? Yeah, honestly, this is a great usage of social media and highlighting your division. This is really good. So I'm a big fan of both Nyla and Athena, and I busted out laughing at first because of how Nyla just popped into the video and was like, "Surprise!" It was pretty funny. So it was good stuff. I'm excited to see these two in a program. So let's go. This is a good usage of social media.
Agreed. And that's, like I said, it's a tool and it should be used as a tool, period. Yep. Yeah, end of the story, especially for wrestling. So yes, RK Shuttlesworth, social media again. You are on social media right now on Twitch, by the way, just so you know. So, can't hate it that much. All right, guys. That's going to do it, I believe. Well, no, one more topic.
No. We got one more. And Joe, I'm gonna turn it over to you real quick, and then I'll be right back because I'm gonna join you, but I'll be right back. I want to have you kind of chat about this real quick.
Go right ahead. Oh my goodness. We've talked about this on our grievances more oftentimes than I've ever wanted to talk about it. I don't really know what to say anymore, honestly. I don't. I don't know what to say anymore. You better watch it. You better watch yourself. I'm not in the mood. But I don't know what to say anymore. I don't even know how you can say it any more times than we already have. The stuff that happened here. Look, all I can tell you, I saw when this happened. I saw the things on social media. I immediately turned over to Busted Open because I wanted to see what their reactions are, because they, he's on their show a lot, usually once a week, sometimes twice a week, to promote his shows. And I wanted to hear what they all had to say, because, Bully lets him have it. He just does. But the other two are usually kind of careful with what they say. LaGreca is kind of in the middle, and Tommy Dreamer's usually kind of on Tony's side when he does stuff, and kind of just tries to figure out, like why he's doing it and all that kind of stuff. But to go into this, and then I think that the kicker was that Bully was saying is, this supposed comment that he got about, and I forget his name already. The guy in AEW. Someone remind me. Who is he comparing him to? Taz's son. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. Somebody in chat remind me. It's stuck. I could see it. I could see his hook. Thank you. Saying that someone was saying to him something about Hook not being, worthy of a title shot, but then Bully brought it up and saying, well, where the hell was that? Because he didn't see it. He said he looked around and said he didn't see it anywhere. It wasn't on the socials anywhere that he could see or looked for it to see it. So, and then he goes off about it and says that someone, I don't know, maybe someone DM'd them, I guess, maybe. I have no idea. But in either case, he went off about the whole thing with Jinder, comparing him to Hook and how Hook deserves a shot more, because this person, I guess whoever DM'd him or whatever the case might be was saying that Hook's undeserving of a title shot. And then he retorted by saying, well, look at Jinder. He's done nothing but lose. And why is he getting a title shot? I don't understand it. Like, if someone DM'd him, and that's what this started from, and Bully said this too, and so did, and LaGreca and Tommy Dreamer are kind of all in agreement on this. Just DM him back. If it's a person that DM'd you, DM them the comments from this back. Don't put this on social media, dude. It looks silly, and it just makes it, I don't know, it just makes you look bad, man. Like, I get he's defending his wrestlers, I guess, maybe in his mind. I don't really know. I don't really know, what thought process is going on here. I go back to some of the things that I've heard, and again, I'm not going to beat this. We've talked about this before, but it just doesn't seem to stop. It just happens time after time after time. And I'll go back to the thing with Vince Russo, of all people. He's telling him in a stream that, listen, man, let your wrestlers do the talking. Let them do the talking for you. Don't be the one that comes out doing the talking on the socials. Let the wrestlers be the one to do that. And he's 100% right. I mean, and then here you see, like, this is a double standard. 28-1 career record on winning streak calls out the champ. A logical challenge sparks online outrage. And this is where Bully took umbrage with and said, well, where the hell was this outrage? He said, I didn't see any of this outrage. Where was this online outrage that he was talking about? Because he was trying to find it, I guess, underneath the tweets and stuff like that. And there was no online outrage. And then it said Jinder has lost every single match he's in for the past year. Immediately gets title shot. Where is the rage? And then tomorrow on TBS. A moral victory for USA is one more win than their world title challenger Jinder Mahal has in the past 364. So it just goes on. Because it's literally been a full year since he won a match. You really put AEW in our place by getting Jinder Mahal in a big match for your TV show. Do it more often. Why are you doing this?
So I want so the tweet up underneath that from the USA Network, I think that's what really got Tony going, because Raj Giri tweeted out, because people were having things to say about Seth and Jinder, and Raj Giri tweeted out that Seth and Jinder had history, and he broke down that history. And USA Network, replied to that and said, what was the cage match rating? Obviously, a dig at Tony, because he's talked about cage match ratings and how they factor into his booking decisions and how he booked certain matches and things like that. And so again, taking from going there to commenting on the other company's booking decisions, then bringing two wrestlers into it that really had nothing to do with this. You see Gender's response there talking about I think, well, I just wanted to add in that, and then I'll get into what I think. But I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all good, dude. No, I mean, that's not, I see popped in. All he achieved was, and he's right. This is exactly what the guys that busted open said too. All he achieved is hyping up Raw and people actually waiting to see Jinder in a title match. He's right. He did. That's what he did do. Now everybody's more hyped up about the match with Jinder. It's almost like he was helping them. So this is just silly. This kind of thing, just, he really needs to stop this. You've got a ton of wrestlers there who can talk. You've got wrestlers who are on the socials in that company all the time. My God, you have Chris Jericho there. Chris Jericho's on the socials, maybe not as much as he used to be, but he's on there a good amount of time. There's a lot of people there who you can let speak for you. Why do you come out and you do this? It's a bad look. It's just a bad look. I think the pressure is becoming too much. He realizes he's trying to take that. I don't know. Christopher, I'm not saying that in any way. I've said this before. Anyone who goes out there saying they want a wrestling company to die, and that word exactly, is just stupid. Because all you're doing in that case is you're not punishing the company, you're punishing the talent. Because if one of those companies were to go away, so if AEW went away, then again you'd be down to one major company, and they can't take everyone. So you're going to have a whole mess of people out of jobs. So I don't want to see that. I think the competition is good. However, this doesn't do anything for me at all. I don't think this is smart. I don't think it's like it just seems like a person going on rants for absolutely no reason. It's just silly to me, and it just, I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm just not sure. I just don't get it. And he might go by the old adage, no publicity is bad publicity. I don't think so. That's just dumb. Why would you, Tony Khan, listen to Cage Match Ratings? It's a site that gets between 20 and 100 reviews per show and spikes in WWE's favor whenever Tony Khan's mentioned. See, that's what I mean. All you're doing is you're doing anti of what you planned on doing here. You're giving them added attention, which is what you're trying not to do. So I don't know, Jeff. Yeah. I want to hear your thoughts, because I don't know what more to say about this.
Yeah, I think so. There are a couple things here that I just want to add in. One is I'm going to say something that might surprise some folks. Tony Khan isn't wrong. However, he shouldn't be the one sharing this out. Like, this may be the only time I condone this type of behavior, but create a burner. Like, create a burner account. Or, I mean, there are plenty of people who would have tweeted this out on your behalf. Do that too. But in essence, what Tony did was he made Jinder Mahal one of the biggest baby faces in WWE by talking about this match in the way that he did, and then getting Jinder's response. That only made people want to see the match more, which is not the result that I think Tony was hoping for. I think I was thinking about this earlier, kind of an analogy. Tony reminds me of a new parent, and what I mean by that is he's got this baby, right? And he's been there since the beginning. And you see your child take their first steps and everything, and then they start getting invited to little kids' birthday parties, and you're being that parent that's kind of there and making sure that they're okay and they don't fall and they don't scrape a knee or anything like that. And then one day you blink and they're like 5 or 6 years old. They have their personality. They can do for themselves. They're not a baby anymore. So I think that's where Tony is. Tony is very, very passionate about AEW, as he should be. He is very, very different, I'll say, when it comes to his style as opposed to others in that space. So, I think that Tony doing this is what is appealing to some fans. Like, some fans like the fact that he's, posting this kind of stuff. I think for me personally, as someone who works in the marketing public relations space, it makes me cringe, because it's like, dude, you don't have to tweet this stuff out yourself. And for the love of God, please stop responding to things, because like you're digging deeper and deeper. And again, I'm not saying that any of the information that he shared was wrong, but there's a time and a place and a way, and I don't think this was it. A lot of people have talked about his antics on social media, and again, I think that there's it's awesome about his passion for his company is awesome. I don't knock him for that, but I just think when you're competing, when you've made this big deal of competition between AEW and WWE, and every time they do something, you've got to run to social media and say it, or somebody takes a shot on one of your shows. I mean, my advice would be hand your phone to someone else, or just delete Twitter from your phone so you don't get the urge. And the other thing that I'll say is just focus on AEW and Ring of Honor. Like, that same engagement that he got on those tweets, if he had just said, "Hey, tomorrow night we're gonna have this happen on AEW Dynamite," and it's not gonna be a guy that hasn't won a match in 300 and something days, but it's gonna be against the guy who's earned his shot. I mean, even something as simple as that, and not calling out the other company like that. I mean, I don't know. There were ways to do it other than this way. But again, I don't know who's talking to Tony, or if anyone's saying, "Hey, this is a bad look. Can we just like not do this again?" Because it'd be really helpful if we stop doing it.
I'm kind of hoping he watched that episode of Busted Open, because, like I said, I know he goes on that show. He's on there like weekly, and I'm kind of hoping he watched. And maybe, I don't know, but see, then again, I don't know that anybody like that listens to things, or at least not enough. Yeah, Jericho is probably a bad idea now that I think about it. He's got enough of his own issues going on. Yeah, that's probably not a very good spokesperson for them anyway. But you know what I mean. You get the gist.
I would just,
somebody there.
Joe, I would say that he's got to have someone there too. Like, yeah, he's got to have someone that can kind of post this kind of stuff and share this kind of stuff. But he's also got to have someone there that's got to be like, "Hey, look, Tony, listen, I love what you're doing. I love your passion. I love your energy, but let's kind of dial it back a little bit when it comes to going after them." Because again, I don't like this this discussion out there of them being them and being meaning AEW being little brother. I get it. WWE's been in the game longer. They, do more in terms of profitability, all of that. But, AEW is a professional wrestling company too. And there are just certain things that negatively impact your product, and there are certain things that build it up. And I just think that, anytime that we're talking about Tony and TK, we're always talking about TK when it comes to AEW, but we need to be talking about the talent more. And I know we're going to get to that topic because that's coming up in another segment. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just insanity. It just seems like it goes on week after week after week. I showed this, I think, last night, but I'm going to show it again. I don't know who to credit this to, but I did find this on Twitter. But I thought this was kind of funny. Let me see if I can get. There you go. I don't know who did the art, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good artwork. The little birds flying out and everything like that, and the phone. I don't know who did that, but I found that on X. So, all right. I think, Jeff, maybe we'll because we kind of had a little bit of a grievance there. Maybe we would blow past that for this week and we'll move on, huh? Because we ran over. We had a lot of good stuff and fun stuff to talk about. So we'll skip that segment for this week because we're just starting off. We don't have enough time to gather up a lot of grievances yet. And this was kind of a grievance anyway. So let's go move on, shall we? We're going to move on to sell or no sell. I'm aware of the score A. Thank you for reminding me again. Jeez. I'm aware of the score. Thank you. Yes, I know the line. Yes, I saw the Lions are winning now. That one I didn't know.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Oh no, yeah, they're up 24-20. Never mind. I thought the Rams. Never mind. I thought I missed it. All right, we're gonna go to sell or no sell. You know how this works. Play along in the chat. Do you like it or do you not like it? And that amounts to sell or no sell. So topic number one is Nick Nemeth to TNA is a major signing in the world of professional wrestling. He will be a champion in 2024. So Jeff, what do you got, man? Is selling or no selling it?
Well, I got to pull up the handy dandy soundboard because it would be nice to have a little bit of sound effects with this, right?
Yes, let's go.
Because no one can tell that we're selling or no selling unless we have sound effects. So
that's true.
This is where I am with this.
I don't like it. I love it, love it, love it.
There you go.
I'm selling. I think this is a huge signing. I think that I think he's a big signing there for a lot of different reasons. But I honestly do believe that this is a needle mover, to use the term. This is a needle mover, I think, for TNA, and I think it'll be good for them. It'll bring more eyes, and that's a good thing, and that's what they want with this relaunch. So I do think he'll be a champ at some point this year.
Yeah, I think this is an easy sell. You wouldn't have him be there in that moment after they just crowned a brand new champion, and he is not considered a major signing. That you wouldn't have had that spotlight on him. If he wasn't a major signing, he would have debuted in, I don't know, some other match somewhere along the line, but not at that particular point. And will he be a champion? Yes, I do believe he will. I think, and obviously he came right out and he called out Moose. There's going to be fire to that. We heard Moose's response last night after the fact on that little interview that he did. So they're going to go into a program. When it will happen, I think it'll be down the road a bit. Moose will get his. Guaranteed. He'll get back at him for doing what he did, and this is going to go for a while. This may go to Slammiversary all the way out that far and have Moose carry it until then. But yes, I do believe that Nick Nemeth is a major signing, and he will be a champion for them at some point. So yeah, I think that's a pretty easy sell. Let's see what people are saying. We got a lot of sells. Sell. It will be both. Sell says bonus baby selling and not selling, says Brandon. Sell. No major signing selling. He will be a champ. Sell, it's a major signing. Not sure if he will have a title or not, but he will have a title somewhere, if not TNA. Like I said, that science is big for TNA. Nick has almost won everything at WWE except Royal Rumble. Selling the part that Nick is a major signee, but I'm not selling him being a champion. Love the signing for them. Nemeth doesn't need a title. He might be happy to help put others over. He was teasing his debut to TNA, says DRO. All right, yeah, I think that's pretty cut and dry. I think, especially where they had him on the show. What do we got next?
All right, up next, let's we're gonna talk about her again here.
Imagine that.
This time, this is the kicker here. WWE needs Mercedes Moné in 2024. Joe, sell or no sell?
I'm going to no sell it. I think there are other places that need. We're going to use the word need. Yeah, I'm no selling that. I think I think there is a need in other places that are more than WWE. Because other than, like, if I had to do a ranking of women's wrestling, I would go TNA. I've said that for years. WWE. Then I would go AEW, and I'm counting ROH with AEW too, or else I would probably have that maybe a little bit lower. And I'm not counting it for athletics or athletes that are there. I'm not counting it for talent. I'm counting it for the emphasis on it, the spotlight on it, and the time that they get. That's the stuff I'm factoring in, not the talent, because I think all of the shows have a lot of great talent. But do I think WWE needs her? No, I don't. I think they're perfectly fine with who they've got there. Look, like I said earlier, they've got Jade Cargill waiting in the wings. She is a star, a bona fide star. She sells herself better than most wrestlers sell themselves just on social media alone. She is a star. The people that they have in NXT, like people you guys mentioned, Cora Jade, they are Tiffany Stratton. They are upcoming stars. They don't need her. They just don't. And that's why maybe I think that would they like to have her? Sure. But I think that they're not going to get in a bidding war over it. And I think ultimately, if somebody, if she's asking for 10 mil and they offered her 6, I don't think they're going to bid higher and go up to her bids. Pact Entertainment, please do not spoil anything on that. Do not spoil Snake Eyes. I literally, and I don't mean to be mean, I will bounce you. Don't spoil it. We are going to have that on our show at some point, whether it's this week that they show it, but please do not spoil any of that. We are not going to watch it. So yes, it's taping. They're going to use it as taping. So please do not spoil it. I really appreciate that because a lot of us are not going to spoil it for ourselves. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm glad I saw that early enough because I know you might have said a couple things and that's okay. It's cool. I get it. I get you're excited about it and we are too. But we're not going to watch it till it is shown. I don't want to spoil it. I know I could easily spoil it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. But no, I don't think they need her, Jeff. What about you?
I'm gonna no sell it. Of course, now my button. There we go. No, I don't think they need her. Need is the word there. I don't think they need her. Again, you have Jade that's going to debut at some point this year. You've got all the talent in NXT. I mean, you've got the great work that Damage Control is doing. I don't think they need her. Now, I could say the same thing. I didn't think they needed CM Punk either. It just creates more depth and it gives you more opportunities to do different storylines. So I don't think they need her, but I think that, she'd definitely be a luxury if she were to go there and they could do some some awesome stuff with her, but I don't think they need her.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. I don't know. Maybe the question you should ask is who. Yeah, we look at it from the reverse and say who does. Who does. The key word there is need. Who does need her? I guess you can figure it out easily that way. But yeah, I don't think they do. I don't think they do. So, all right, what's up next?
All right, up next. All right, this is a good one here. Tony Khan should restructure AEW so he's no longer the face promoting the company. Sell or no sell?
This is a sell, dead set sell. It's not even close.
All right, I'm gonna play this then.
I don't like it. I love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, this is a dead set sell. This is an easy one. He needs I don't know. He needs someone. I mean, my gosh, he's got all the money in the world. Pay someone to do your socials. It's that simple. Pay somebody to run the socials. And somebody who knows what they're doing, what they should do, what they shouldn't do to kind of keep everything PC. Pay somebody to do it, man. I don't know. Have a family member do it. I don't know. Pay someone to do it. It's too much. It happens every other week now. It's just getting worse and worse and worse down the road. You can pay a marketing firm even to run those kind of things, man. They know how to do that stuff. They can get get everything you need out there and talk about the programs and what you got going on and things like that. But yeah, man, get someone to do it. Yeah, this is just easy. Just get somebody to do it. It's just a sell. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell it too.
I don't like it. I love it, love it, love it.
Not just because I like the sound, but I'm gonna sell it because I do think that that there comes a point where you have to just kind of trust that things are gonna work well. You put the right people in the right positions. I think for Tony, he's very passionate, and that's a blessing and a curse. I think sometimes that passion isn't funneled, and it kind of just he goes back to the days where he was on the message boards talking about wrestling, and I understand that that's his background and what and he's a huge fan of wrestling. You can tell, but I just feel like when it comes to running that company, you need someone that's maybe a little bit more buttoned up. You need someone that understands some of the other sides of the business, other than just the wrestling stuff, but the business side of the wrestling business. And again, he's proven that he's a great promoter.
Yep.
But there are times where you just need to let it go. And I get it. People take shots at Tony all day long, every day. But again, I just think that maybe people are focusing on him a little too much and not the talent that they have in AEW.
Yeah.
I really don't want to continue to talk about Tony Khan when you have the likes of Swerve Strickland and MJF and Adam Cole and many, many other great talented people. I don't want to keep talking about Tony Khan. I want to talk about the people that they have there. So,
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. All right. That is our sell or no sell tonight. We are going to move on to our burning question of the week. This was a relatively new segment that we started like the last quarter of last year. So basically, you guys again can play along in the chat and tell us your answer to our burning question of the week, Jeff, which is after TNA's Hard to Kill, what do you feel the company has to do to make 2024 a successful year. So mull that over. Let us know in the chat. What do you feel they need to do? Could be, I don't know, sign somebody else. It could be maybe move to bigger arenas or use pyro or stuff like that. Let us know in the chat what you guys think. Jeff, what's your answer to this? What do you feel the company has to do to make 2024 a successful year?
I think the biggest thing for me is just TNA being who TNA is.
Okay.
Don't try to be anyone else. Just be yourself. Focus on putting great matches together. Work on how you promote the different avenues that people can watch your product. I think that's going to be key in drawing new eyes because, again, if you're going to stay on Access, for the foreseeable future, that's fine. But tell people how they can access your shows in a different way and really promote those ways. I think Brad just said here, go live every week. Again, at some point this year, that would be nice. But I think for me, just taking the time to really understand and work out all the kinks that you may have with improvements in production.
Yeah. For me, I'm gonna say don't do too much too soon. And I think that's along the lines of a little bit of what Jeff was trying to say there too. What I mean by that is I went into last night thinking, oh my God, I can't wait to see the entrance and I want pyro. Well, I got a cool entrance with the tunnel and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't get the pyro. So, but I wasn't disappointed by that. So you kind of have to developing something from the ground up. And yes, they do have a large history, but in essence, they are developing it from the ground up, right? They're redeveloping it. So you start small and you work your way up. I know a lot of people were saying when we heard this was happening last year is, oh my God, awesome. They can go to these 20,000 seat arenas. Obviously that wouldn't be a smart idea because you're not going to get that way overnight. Now your goals are to grow into that, right? So your next step up would be, from the arenas that they're in now, which I think are fine. These little MMA arenas that they have. Hey, the place was jumping last night. They packed that place. And that's cool. It's like 2,000 seat arena. And I'm cool with that. Stay on course with that. If you want to go to like a next level, then you start looking at some place like the Performance Center with NXT into something like that. Go up little baby steps. So go to the 1,000, 2,000, then maybe climb up to the 5,000 or so. If you'd see, there's tons of arenas around like this that can do that. College arenas are up there, right? That can seat a good amount of people, but it's not, the 20,000, 30,000 seat. Are they going to, is it a logical expectation to expect that they're going to be in like the major basketball NBA arenas? No, they would never fill that. And it would be silly to do that. So, and pyro, yes, bonus baby mentioned, depends on the arena. Yeah, absolutely. These littler places can't have that. Sometimes fire codes and such. We saw, you've seen accidents happen when small places like that have pyro. My goodness, there was a band member killed from a band I remember, Great White. I was a fan of them and had a really bad accident with pyro in a smaller place. So yeah, they can't do that kind of thing. But I'm good with it. I like the change. I like the tunnel. I like how they come out. I like the boards. I like the graphics. I like the ring, the way the ring looked. I like the changes they made. So I think just small and steady, right? Small and steady wins the race. And I think it's good. Do I also think they need to sign a whole mess of people? No. You have tons of talent there. Utilize the talent you've got. Obviously, you have, it looks like Giselle Shaw might be your number, she's your number one contender for the title for Jordan Grace. So you're going to probably have a built-in feud there. You've got a ton of talent already there. You don't need a whole lot of outside talent or signing a whole mess of people. Sure, get some good ones. Maybe we get maybe we get Elijah at some point. Maybe we get who else was I thinking? Tennille. Maybe Tennille comes back, right? So yeah, the little things, but don't go overboard. Don't try to do too much at once, and I think they'll be successful. I think they'll be just fine. And also rely on their matches, because what we got last year were incredible. I mean, the Mike Bailey stuff, the Josh Alexander stuff, they just keep doing incredible matches over and over and over. Last night we had some incredible. Moose and Shelley was an incredible match. So we just keep seeing that over and over. So the wrestling will speak for itself. Let it. And I don't think you have to do much more than that to have a successful 2024. Small goals. That's, if you learn one thing in life as you're growing into whatever profession you're in, make yourself a bunch of smaller goals. Don't try to shoot for the moon right off, because chances are you're not going to hit it. And then all of a sudden then you're like, oh man, I'm a failure. I didn't hit that. So Pact Entertainment said one thing they need to do is push Ace Austin more. He should win every title in the company, not all at once, but he should win every title eventually. I hope he becomes world champion by the end. He will be someday, I think. I would say that. I'd say that's a good bet.
Yeah.
Brandon says I would say by start doing at least slightly bigger venues, because that's pretty much been my only issue with Impact. Now back to TNA. They have great talent. Market them correctly. Storylines and good booking. Pyro may depend on the arena. Yes. Yeah. 100%. Agreed. Baby steps is what got them to this point. They should keep that going. I think their product is pretty good as it is. I mean, look at last night was really good. Last night was really, really good. So, and I think it's just going to continue to be really good. So, yeah, good stuff. All right. So up next is, oh my God, Jeff, I think this might be my easiest three. I think this is going to be my easiest favorite moments of the week ever, ever, because they're all going to come from the same place.
all from the same place.
Yep. They're going to go 1, 2, 3. They're going to be, you guys are all going to know this. This is going to be the most predictable 3 favorite moments of the week. Shout out yours. Let us know what made you mark out this week. What made you happy in wrestling this week? Let us know. We're going to go 3. We're going to go 2. We're going to go 1. So let's start at 3. Jeff, your third favorite moment in wrestling of this past week.
Oh man, my number 3 favorite moment of the week this week is going to surprisingly not come from what we watched last night. But I really enjoyed Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
I think the build and everything leading up to the match was great, and I'm a fan. So obviously 2 of my favorites in there doing battle, and that was. I just love the match that they had, and so now I'm going to be a complete homer with 2 and 1. But yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh man, yeah. Hey, listen, how far has Shinsuke come?
Oh
man, how far is he? So many people were using the B word. Oh man, he does nothing. He hardly even shows up. Where is he? He's never on TV. His work this past year and so far this year has been tremendous. I love the character. I imagine that he could have been very involved with the characterization that he's doing now, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. He can go up against anybody as that really, really good heel, and I hope they keep him that way. He's doing amazing work right now, absolutely amazing work. So no doubt. My number 3. I'm a homer, absolute homer this week, because I'm using the 3 moments that I marked out yesterday. And if you were with me at the beginning of the show, you're already going to know what they all are. I just have to go 3, 2, and 1 with them. So I'm going to go as my number 3 with Decay. Decay. One of my favorite tag teams of all time. You guys all know I love the supernatural stuff. It gets me every time. And now that these 2 are back with the entrance, love the entrance, love the creepy looking door. I love the whole thing, man. Came out with the hand on the screen and everything just went black. It was such a cool thing. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, did we lose the feed? Like, what's going on with this? It was such a long pause with the black screen. And all of a sudden I'm like, no freaking way.
Joe is speaking from experience because we've definitely had that issue.
We have had that happen with with TNA, not with TNA, but with Impact, where we would lose the screen. Oh gosh, we knew that MK Ultra weirdly didn't have a match. They were given their titles and stuff, but no match was announced for them, and they were really the only champions that weren't. So we're like, what? No wonder what's going to happen. They've got to be here, right? They've got to be. And all of a sudden, man, out comes Decay to challenge. And not only do they challenge, but they win the Knockouts tag team titles from MK Ultra. Beat MK Ultra for the first time in. What they had those over a year, I think, right? It had to be like
Just
very
about,
close
yeah,
to it, just about a year. And man, they looked amazing doing it. Havoc just looked unstoppable in the ring. They could not get past Havoc. Totally made her look tremendous. And of course, Rosemary there as well. We don't know. Is it, again, we're talking about factions earlier in the show. Do we get, and Jeff mentioned this, do we see a Decay reunion? Now that Crazy Steve's got some gold, you would have 3 members of Decay with gold right now. So I don't know, man. This was awesome. Absolutely mark out moment. Did not see it coming. No one talked about it. No one spoiled it. It was awesome. Love to see Decay back. Absolutely love that. So that's my number 3. Let's see what everybody has. Cody Rhodes versus Shinsuke match, says James. Bonus Baby says the new X Division title belt. Pat says number 3, his number 3 was the Ultimate X match, was just insane. Tiffany Stratton as Barista, says A. Mustafa Ali wrestling Gringo Loco, says Clown. Obviously, yeah, Mustafa showed up in New Japan. Barry Monkey says the X Division 3-man title match at Hard to Kill. Tied as my 3 is Tiffany Day as Fallon's ranch hand and Kross naming his faction. Decay was Swag Fans number 3 as well. Jessica was celebrating from her hotel room on Twitch for a little bit. That's cool. Yeah, she's very active on Twitch. Yeah, very cool. Ranch Hand Tifu, says Andrew, or Tiffy. Tifu. I was hoping for the inspiration to return, but then I remember, yeah, I was talking about that a little bit too, but then they reminded me in the chat that she's pregnant. Yes. Yeah, so that was going to happen. Tiffany being Fallon Henley's ranch hand, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. That's a great moment. That's absolutely a great moment. All right. 3, Tyler Bate and Butch. Okay. All right, Jeff, let's go to number 2. Everybody give us your number 2. What's your number 2?
Number 2 for me. I got a tie, Joe, for number 2.
Okay.
Did you get a chance to see the video package that WWE did with Truth and the Judgment Day?
Yeah, from SmackDown, right?
Yeah, Raw.
Or Raw, yeah. I saw it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so hilarious. R-Truth is a legend. He's a national treasure.
Yeah,
folks, I really hope you appreciate how golden he is. I mean, he's just awesome. But number 2 for me, the other part of number 2 for me is all the new belt designs for TNA.
Yep.
I have liked every single one of the belt designs. So kudos to TNA for doing a great job on those redesigns. And yeah, I'm really digging the new belt.
Yeah, that's a great call out. Yeah, the belts are fire. They're really, really good. Number 2 for me, the very start of last night's show on the pre-show, and my boy Joe Hendry made his way back. I'll be honest, I was a little nervous because nobody really said anything about Joe. There was a lot of this we're signing this and signing that, and we're bringing this back, and we've got this, and you didn't really hear much from Joe Hendry. So this was this dude has so much freaking talent. These songs that he does are absolutely freaking hilarious. And Joe Hendry and this with the whole, oh my God, man, making fun of him and tried to be in the NFL and the fall, and oh God, I was dying laughing. And the fact that Joe's back. Listen, TNA is better with Joe Hendry. This kind of stuff that he does is just freaking phenomenal. I don't know I would imagine, like I said, this is going to continue. I know it is, because just the way they left it. Now, I can't say I liked him getting buried in his own what were they called? Cheez-Its. Can't say I enjoyed that one. And he got snaked by the rapper. What's the rapper's name?
DJ
yes.
Cool Kid and AJ Francis. Yeah,
he
Who Kid something to the back. Yeah,
Who Kid snaked him with the laptop. So there's that. But I don't know. Joe may need somebody to watch his back a little bit. And going forward, if they end up doing something like this. But this was awesome. What a way to start.
He gets his own DJ, Joe?
That would be awesome. That would be cool. Yeah. somebody. Oh, that would be amazing, dude. Hendry's just that kind of guy. It's like just the stuff he does, and whether or not you think he's comic relief or not, the guy can wrestle. He's man, the guy is a built dude. He obviously is good in the ring, but this guy is just fantastic for promos and stuff like that. So seeing that Joe Hendry was back, that's my number 2. Love this dude. And my second mark out moment of the night goes to Joe Hendry. So. All right, let's see what we got in the chat. Karrion Kross vignette, small hint of Pete Dunne coming back. Jordan wins the title. Trinity loses. We have, let's see. My number 2 is from the 6-man match on Collision to the street fight on Battle of the Belts. 2 of the 4 tag team matches at Hard to Kill. New TNA World title belts. Ziggler coming to TNA was your number 2. Paul Heyman was the number 2. Yeah, Paul was funny. Paul was really funny on SmackDown this week. Yeah, Paul was really good on SmackDown this week. That stuff was funny when he was trying to look for a partner. Pretty funny that when he was going around trying to recruit people and everything like that. They were pretty good segments. And the whole interaction between him and all this, really good too. Oba Femi becoming NXT North American champion. The new TNA belts are fire. AJ and Knight and Randy doing Roman's own move. Yeah, they finally came together at the end of that match, and that was pretty devastating. Hendry, I was going to say next. Ultimate X Women's match, the belt design. If TNA and WWE do strike up a partnership, we have to have a Joe Hendry. Oh yeah, Joe Hendry and R-Truth. Oh my God, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Henry and Grayson Waller would be hilarious. Hendry and anybody would just be awesome. All right. Moving on to number 1. Jeff, what was your number 1 moment of the week in wrestling?
All right. My number 1, pretty simple. The return of TNA Wrestling. TNA Wrestling Hard to Kill last night, I thought was a phenomenal show. Yes, pun intended. And I love the fact that Nick Nemeth is there. I really do. And I'm just thinking about all the matchups that he can have. Him and Alex Shelley, him and Chris Sabin, him and Moose. There are so many other matches, him and Speedball. Just so many great matches that I think he can have there. And I don't think he needs to be a champion, but I think given what he's done in the business and for the business, I'd love to see TNA bestow that honor upon him and put him in that position so he can win the title.
Yeah. Yeah, man. How can I not say the same? All I could say is TNA. TNA is back, man. It was a hell of a night. It was a hell of a show. We waited for so long for it to happen, and they are back. They are ready to rock, and they are going to be a force in the pro wrestling business. There is no doubt in my mind. They have stolen headlines, and they will continue to do that as we go through the year. They've got their big major pay-per-views coming up. We all know that what their big events are like and what they do. They're not, like I said, I don't think they're done. as far as bringing in some other people. This is going to be just an amazing year now that that TNA is back and up there with the other companies. So yeah, I 100% agree. Had to be my number one. And of course, the moment with Nick Nemeth at the end, my third markout moment, seeing him back when we weren't really sure, it was cool too, because we kind of got a little swerved at the end. You saw Moose win. The faction comes out, the system comes out, the system they are, right? Yes.
Yeah. System.
Yeah, the system comes out on stage, and we're all kind of like, okay, yeah, maybe this is just a big sign off, right? It was pretty late. It was like 2 minutes to, and then all of a sudden you see the red light up, and Nick comes in, and Nick's in the ring. He takes out Moose, and then he rips off the shirt, and it's TNA. Very cool moment. Very, very, very cool end of the show. The crowd went simply ballistic. So it was great. Just a great show. Great to have them back. It's going to be great for the wrestling business. Greats all around. It was a really, really fun week in wrestling. Really fun week in wrestling. And we're only 2 weeks into the month.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see what everybody has as their number one. John G says Joe Hendry's back number one. Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke is Alexa Bliss Gamer or 0809 number one. Number one is the new TNA Knockouts World Title belt. Cody and Shinsuke, Nick Nemeth TNA debut. The genius at TNA who decided they should restrict who could see the buy-in pre-show for Hard to Kill. That's your number one? Wow, dude, you had a bad week. Moose becomes champion. Nemeth debuts wearing TNA shirt. Let me see. Number one, without a doubt, the rebirth of TNA, starting with Hard to Kill. Ali in New Japan Pro Wrestling is your number one. Nice. For me, number one was Ace and Bay retaining. I was getting scared when they randomly added TGV to it and that they were going to pull a Bound for Glory, the inspiration when they won the titles on their first night. I think we got everybody here. Moose winning could be tied for number one because I'm conflicted with that one. I wanted Shelley to retain, but I also wanted Moose to win. I just couldn't decide. I didn't want either to lose. Have to be honest, when Nick debuted, I was thinking you should have done Book of Wrestler around Nick Nemeth. Favorite moment of the week is Dolph's hair. Oh, man, Dolph's hair. And how about the Motley Crue t-shirt getting ripped up? Yeah. Trinity versus Grace. Nick Nemeth coming out. Trinity and Grace was a great match. TNA Hard to Kill. WWE SmackDown and New Japan pay-per-view DROs talking about the actual shows. Was a great week. All in all, it was a really, really fun week. There's a lot of stuff to be happy about and really be positive about pro wrestling right now. And we're only starting the month. We're only a couple weeks in. Like I said, we've got Royal Rumble coming up next as a big show. And we've got TNA this upcoming Thursday that we'll have as well. And probably get some of those matches that are from Snake Eyes that are going on or have gone on tonight. So we'll get to see that, honestly, in just a few days. So that is going to wrap us up for tonight, guys. We have gone through quite a large thing. We didn't do the grievances tonight, but honestly, we really didn't have much, to be honest, other than those little pieces that we went through prior. I'm sure we'll develop them as we go because there's always something to bitch about. But yeah, starting off the year, trying to be a little positive, and just giving everybody some sort of reason to be happy about watching pro wrestling. So. All right, guys. Before we go, obviously, make sure to come out and join us on Thursday, 7:45. Unless we see otherwise, just keep watch on our socials. If they're going to start that pre-show earlier, and we might have to start it at 7:30 instead of 7:45. And if they're going to start it instead of 8, they started at 7:30 or something. We'll see. We're not 100% sure yet. But just keep watch on them to know when we're going to be starting our Thursday show. But either way, we'll be here every single Thursday for TNA TNA. And then, of course, next Sunday, we'll be back here with Between the Ropes. Keep your eyes open because we do have another show in development. That's going to be a round table. It's going to be an insiders round table that we're going to just kind of just shoot the breeze. We're just going to talk some wrestling. It's going to be like a little, 45-minute to an hour thing. We're just going to go round table and just talk about wrestling. And it could be a little NSFW as well in there. But Jeff's idea that we kind of just got because a lot of times we're just sitting after chatting about stuff and we thought it would be cool. So keep your eyes open for that. And that is about it, guys. Please stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. If you're in any of these areas where the weather is so bad, please stay indoors and stay safe inside and be kind to one another. Please also make sure you drop a like on the video for us. That is the biggest thing you can do. It is free to do. It helps us out. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to know about when we have future content. Yes, happy Martin Luther King, ML King Day tomorrow. Yes, happy ML King Day to you as well, Chris. All right, guys, that is going to do it. Yeah, Jeff's got a graphic. Very awesome. Very awesome. A pioneer was MLK. So, yes, right. Please enjoy that. Enjoy your day. Have a great rest of your night, guys. Please be safe and be kind to one another. And hopefully we will see you all for our next show. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll talk to you all soon.